If you're an elementary music teacher, then you know that two of your main things you need to teach your kids is rhythm and melody. But how do you actually teach those things? So in this video, we're gonna talk about how to teach rhythm, and in a separate video, we'll talk about how to teach melody, because they're both very important. They deserve their own videos, and they're kind of abstract when you start and you're not quite sure how to explain them yet. I learned this the hard way. I had decided, like, okay, today's, this week is the week we're gonna teach rhythm, and we're gonna talk about quarter and eighth notes. And I remember I got up in front of this class because I was like, all right, now I'm gonna introduce, Ta and Titi. And it was like I had never spoken before in my life. Like I couldn't figure out what to say about them. I couldn't figure out how to explain them. I literally drew like a line and like 2 dots on the board, which we'll talk about more, and then I just kind of stared at it and was like, I don't know what to do. And it was like the worst moment of my life. I will never forget how horrible that was. Terrifying, but the good thing is the kids are forgiving, so I don't think any of them remember that except for me. And so after that, I actually went and put some effort into figuring out, like, what am I actually supposed to do, what am I actually supposed to say. And so here is your answer to what you're actually supposed to do and what you're actually supposed to say. So we're gonna go through step by step how to teach rhythm. It's going to sound like a lot. Don't freak out, because it's very like stepwise, so it'll be very simple. It's not necessarily easy, but it's very simple to figure out. Sorry to interrupt your program, but I did want to let you know that I have a super special offer for my new elementary music teachers. If you are a new elementary music teacher, then you should click the link down below to get access to the free music teacher course. It's going to be 7 days. Each day you will get a video with the topic. It's short. The longest one I think is like 20 minutes, and then a whole bunch of resources, including blog posts, ideas, lesson plans, freebies, other videos to watch that are on similar topics and things like that, so that you can really get a good grip on the basics of teaching elementary music. We're talking about what you should be teaching, how to create a scope and sequence, how to teach rhythm, how to teach melody, classroom management, how to structure your day, and basically all the things that you should have learned in your undergrad, but you probably didn't. So if that sounds interesting to you or helpful at all, you can click the link down below. It is completely free. Check it out. So step number 1 is steady beat. You need to start by making sure your kids know how to keep the steady beat. In kindergarten, this is what you're gonna spend like most of the year on. So kindergarten, at the beginning of 1st grade, you really wanna get that steady beat practice. In order to do that, we're gonna do it lots of different ways. So we're gonna keep it on our bodies while we sing songs, while we listen to songs. We're gonna keep the steady beat all over. One of the easiest way to do this is just stand up in front of the kids and say, follow me. And just keep going as you listen to a song or as you sing one of the songs that you're learning, and keep that steady beat. Along with that, another way that you can keep the steady beat and practice is with instruments. That's great because the kids can hear whether they're on the beat or not. You always, I'm gonna suggest, have a louder instrument up at the front. So like if they're all using hand drums, maybe you have your big djembe and you're playing the steady beat along with them a little bit louder so that they can hear it above all the rest of the noise. You can also do the steady beat by beat tracking. So that means that you have like either symbols or hearts on the floor or on the board that kids can actually point to as they're listening to the song. So this is kind of actually the progression of how we would do it. Is we would start with our bodies, and then we would go to instruments, and then we would beat track. So I would start by like pointing to them up on the board. Sometimes I have the kids can point to them on the board. I also have like heartbeat charts. I actually have free heartbeat charts. Ooh, you can click the link down below to get some free heartbeat charts. And so then you can grab some heartbeat charts and have the kids, point to the hearts. Or if you want to do symbols, so like if you're singing a song about elephants, you could do like little elephants. That's fine too. And then you can do some passing games, which is even more fun. So some of my favorite passing games are bounce high, bounce low, Akabaka, and pass the shoe. So I will link those all down below so you can check those out. And step number 1 is the steady beat. Step number 2 is beat versus rhythm. Now I like to use the hand signs for like everything. And so we use B for beat. This is a B in sign language, and R for rhythm. And my kiddos know that. Like, I mean, if I go to my 5th graders and like, what's this mean? They'll be like, oh, it's rhythm. I'm like, yeah, you're right. So we talk about beat versus rhythm a lot. And specifically, we talk about how rhythm is the way the words go. It is the syllables, and rhythm is long and short notes. So those are like the 3 things we always say about rhythm. The first thing you want to do is compare it to how the words go or the syllables. So I usually end up teaching this in October, which is great because there's this really fun music K8 song called Hey Jack, and it's super, super cute. And so with this song, the chorus goes, boo shaka laka laka boo shaka laka laka boo shaka laka laka boo. So what we do for this one is we play the rhythm on the chorus, and then the rest of the time we keep the steady beat around our bodies. And so it really gets that like beat versus rhythm thing going on. We also, just like when we're singing our songs, we'll play the steady beat and then we'll play the rhythm, and so we can feel the difference. We'll play them with instruments. There's also a Go Noodle video. If you haven't learned about Go Noodle yet, it's amazing. Go Noodle is like fun brain breaks for your kids, but there's lots of like songs and dances. And so there's one of the Go Noodle videos that's about syllables. It's called Clap It Out, and so they're clapping syllables. So I love to do that one when we're learning about rhythm, so that we can clap out the rhythm, and we'll talk about how the rhythm is the clapping of the syllables and all that stuff. And yes, 1st graders know what the word syllables mean, so that's great. Now this is all before they have ever even seen a quarter or an 1/8 note, by the way. Instead of quarter and 1/8 note, we're gonna start by calling them long and short short, or you can just go straight to ta and titi or ta and tati, however you want to do that. But long and short short is really helpful because you can do like line and then like dot dot for short short, so you can get the kids writing and reading before they ever actually look at a quarter note. You can also have them echo things. So like when we learn a new song, I'll, you know, have them echo the rhythm, so we'll be like ta ta ti ti ta, or play the rhythm, or, you know, long long short short long, or whatever we're gonna do. All right, now that we actually know, you know, the difference between beat and rhythm, we're gonna put sounds onto the beats. Okay, so what I mean by that is that you're going to want to have some sort of like heartbeat chart. We always do this together first. So I'll put hearts up on the screen, and we'll figure out that if I put 1 dot, it's gonna be, you know, ta or long. If I put 2 dots on the same heart, it's gonna be titi or short short. I did this year with engine number 9, and it was super helpful. I will leave a link to the YouTube video to engine number 9 and like how I did that and taught rhythm like the whole way through with that one. It's a really easy chant, so definitely check that out. But it really helped me to be able to show them, so we could figure out like, okay, engine is under the first heart, so that's 2 sounds, that's 2 syllables, so we're gonna put 2 dots on there. So you can do that up on the board. You can do it on the board. After you do it on the board, you can have the kids do it themselves. And one of my favorite things is to do chair rhythms. So we'll put 4 chairs front, and we'll have a kid sit in each one, and then I'll have 2 kids in some of them. So if there's 1 kid, then it's a ta or a long, and if there's 2 kids, then it's titi or short short. So you'll have, and it's a really like physical way for the kids to see it, and also it's like silly, so they just love it, and it's great. And it's a lot of fun, and they can see like, okay, the chair is the beat, how many kids are on there. You can also do this, by the way, with stuffed animals. That's a lot of fun too. And I'll have the kids come and like arrange the stuffed animals, so there's like 1 or 2 or however many. So much fun, and they love it. And then you can also do, you take those same principles that I already linked, and you can have them put manipulatives on there. So you can get mini erasers or bingo chips and have them put, you know, 2 bingo chips on a heart if it's TT and 1 if it's top. Step number 4 is gonna be introducing the rhythm. Yep, 3 steps to get here. So I use ta and TT for ours. You can use whatever rhythm syllables you prefer, but that's just what I use. So ta is a quarter note, and then TT is 1/8 notes. I do not teach them the names until they get to about 3rd grade. So the little kids just call them ta and TT, and that's it. And we'll put them up on the board. You can also use stick notation if you prefer stick notation. I don't bother with stick notation because I don't think it's any easier than regular notation, so we just do regular notation. After we have learned what the rhythm is, then we're going to start with reading and pointing. So now we're gonna put, you know, rhythms up on the screen, and we're going to point to them, and we're gonna read them, and we're going to have flashcards, and we're gonna, you know, read them with our friends, and we're gonna point to our own rhythms on our floor and all of that kind of stuff. And by the way, I have a free set of rhythm flashcards that I will also link down below. And so we're just gonna start with like reading and pointing. You can do play along videos on YouTube are great for this, but just the idea being like we're figuring it out, and we're, you know, having that ta ta ti ti ta, different things like that that we're really starting to like understand. Then step number 6 is that we're going to start making rhythms. So what I mean by making is like actually making. So you want to use your manipulatives in order to do this. So a couple ways you can do that. You can get manipulatives. So manipulatives are anything kids manipulate. You can do some like quarter and eighth notes on, you know, like a Word document, copy a bunch of them and then print it out and have them use those in order to create different rhythms. I love doing this with the song Bow Wow Wow, so I will link that down below so you can check that one out. It has printable manipulatives in addition to everything else. Popsicle sticks are a lot of fun. We use popsicle sticks in order to create rhythms. So we use 1 for quarter notes and then 3 for eighth notes. So it's like up and then 1 this way and then 1 this way to make, we call it like a house, to make the house for the eighth notes. So you can do them that way. You can do dictation with them, so have them figure them out. You can have them write on boards or have them write on paper or any of that kind of stuff. And those are all different ways you can create rhythms. So what I like to do with these is the first time I'll give them whatever we're doing, manipulatives, popsicle sticks, boards, whatever. And the first time I'll like tell them the rhythm. So if we're doing ta ta ti ti ta, I'll be like, okay, let's see if we can make ta ta ti ti ta. And I'll help them with the first one and like write it out or put the manipulatives up on the board or whatever. And then the second time I kind of give them like a head start. And then the third time I'll give them even longer of a head start. So I'm like, you try it first and then I'll show you what the answer is. And then by the end of usually the first day, they can figure it all out on themselves. Like kids are smart. They'll get it. If you really prepared them for it, they will get it really quickly. So that's really easy. You can also do this online with Google Slides or on Nearpod, and I will link both those options down below for you too. After we've done a couple of practices, then we'll start notating our song. So we might take that engine number 9 and we'll figure it out as a class, and then I'll even have the kids figuring it out for themselves. So I always like to start it with the class. So we'll put it up on the board and we'll, you know, like engine, it's like me, ta or ti, which one does it match? And they'll, you know, kind of help me. And then maybe like the second or the third line they can do on their own, or they can, you know, fill in one of the missing ones. And I love to do, give them a song with rhythm on it and have like a couple of the rhythms missing. That's a great way to do assessment. Just have a couple of them missing. They just have to fill in the empty ones. It's great. So along with writing your rhythms, you're going to want to eventually have an assessment to make sure that they understand the rhythms. And then step number 7 is going to be to add new rhythms. So the good thing is you don't have to do quite as much work when you get to the next rhythm, but you do still want to have some of the same steps. So I would still do with all of them, figuring out the sounds, how many sounds are on a beat, you know, so like 16th notes are ta-ki, ti-ki, that's 4 sounds on one beat. Introduce the rhythm. You're still going to do pointing and reading, and you're still going to want to make the rhythms and play them on instruments also all throughout. But you don't have to do quite as much work because they now at least understand what rhythms are. So I usually do the order of, so if you're like, okay, what rhythms do I do? You can do them however you want, whatever your state standards say, but my order is always quarter and barred eighth notes first, and I do that in first grade. Then we do quarter rest, also in first grade. In second grade, we do half note and half rest. In third grade, we do barred 16th notes and dotted half notes. And also in third grade, I teach them the real names for everything so that they actually know what they are. And we talk a lot about like beats per measure. In fourth grade, we usually do a dotted quarter note and single eighth notes and whole notes, whole rests. And then in fifth grade, if we get to it, hopefully we get to do triplet and syncopate, which is eighth, quarter, eighth. So, and that's usually as far as we get. Some people do more rhythms, some people do less. It just kind of depends on how often you see your kids and all of that stuff. Please remember that all kids are different, all schools are different. So if you don't get through all of those rhythms, like, it's okay. We didn't get through all of those stuff, all that stuff at the beginning. And if I went to a new school, you know, there's no guarantee that the kids knew as much as I wanted them to know, or if they knew more than I want them to know, or any of that kind of stuff. Also remember that reading, identifying, writing, dictating, and playing rhythms are all different things. So you want to make sure you hit all 5 of those concepts with each of the rhythms. So when you're doing half notes, you want to read half notes, identify half notes, write half notes, dictate half notes, and you want to have them play half notes on your body percussion or on actual instruments. These are all different skills to make sure that they understand things fully. That's really going to help you. You really want to make sure that you get like all of that done. Whew. All right, so there's how to teach rhythm in 15 minutes. It is a lot of work and there's kind of a lot of steps, but the good thing is that you'll stick to one thing for a while. So it's not like, you know, day 1 do this, day 2 do this. It's like, you know, for a couple of lessons you'll do one thing and for a couple of lessons you'll move on to the next. But that's kind of the steps that you need to take for each one. So thanks so much for watching and I'll see you guys next time.